Okay, so the fun over at Twitter just hasn't stopped, and we were talking about it last week, Steve, about how everything was going there, and I don't know what's going on now. The latest being that he sent out an email with an ultimatum saying that you have to click yes if you want to continue and sign up for an intense workload, and you have to say yes. Apparently, it didn't even have a no option; it was only yes. And if you didn't respond, you were going to be fired. And then Twitter loses more employees than what Musk was expecting, and now he's scrambling to figure out what's going on. And then he's taken this extra step of locking all staff out of the office, presumably because he's paranoid that someone's going to sabotage it on the way out the door. This is comical from my perspective because, even if you were to take the view that the media is enjoying this, little circus as, a disaster and whatever, and maybe by some measure, Elon somehow thinks he knows what he's doing. It really just doesn't look like he does. There's one thing to say that, yeah, okay, he's doing it all publicly, he's doing it all out the open, he's done this before, this sort of, crash through approach. I just wonder if he stumbled into a business, a company, whatever you want to call it, a type of work that doing this in this way is not the right way to go about doing it. The reason why I say that is that there's the punditry on the other side that are saying, yeah, Elon's sticking it to him. He's kicking out all the lefties at Twitter. They're all scum. They needed to be booted out anyway. That's a flawed argument. I don't even need to go into why that is, but to me, it just seems like I just look at this. The more this keeps going on, the more it looks like to me that maybe he was good at certain things, and that's why he's gotten to where he is. But again, can we take a chill pill on the idea that the billionaire is a genius and he knows what to do all the time? Because it really clearly doesn't look like he does know what he's doing. Like he might do a Francis Ford Coppola type thing and pirouette and jump off a cliff and pirouette, magically land on his feet perfectly out of this scenario. But as George Lucas, to paraphrase George Lucas there, but I just don't know if that's the case here because it just looks odd and it looks out of control.
Well, it's a very Elon situation, isn't it? You wouldn't expect when it comes to Elon to have any other sort of situation, good or bad. I mean, look, he's pulled rabbits out of the hat before. He's going to have to really pull one out of somewhere for this situation. I think there's a couple of things in play here. I think the whole tech sector, as we know, with now a real push towards profit and profitability, is probably feeling pressures that we haven't seen on the tech sector since the dot-com days, towards the end of the dot-com days. So I think there's that. I also think coming out of post-COVID, we're seeing, companies like Twitter, like Meta, like now having to deal with a workforce that's radically different from when they were in their peak 10 years ago. So I think we're seeing a number of factors play into this all at once that is creating situations that probably are foreign to Elon. He might have got away with this 5 years ago. Probably not today. And it's not looking good. And how do you fix it? And I think the important thing to remember in these situations is whether you're on the side of the Twitter culture of the years before Elon, or whether you're pro Elon and what he'll bring in, this is really going to shake up Twitter. And with people leaving and with these sorts of cultural divides within the company, and also seeing or having those people removed by them choosing not to continue, it will change Twitter hugely. So it might actually work in Elon's favour from that regard. The one thing I want to know is, does he actually have a definition or a benchmark for working extremely hard? Because I know there's a lot of people that just do that in their ordinary jobs.
Yeah, exactly. It's all it's all very odd in terms of the approach, and you have to wonder, like he could, whether he knows this or not, it could end up that we might end up seeing Twitter burn to the ground as a result of this approach, because you know there's also a thing about perception. When you want to attract talent to work at a anywhere really, you're putting out a perception that it's a place that you want to go. It isn't even like a motivational thing, like I'm going to save the world type thing. You're looking for a job, you want something to do. You don't want to go to a place that's in chaos or is poorly managed or anything like that. And regardless of whether he's doing this or not, he is absolutely putting out the perception that it's not the place to work at the moment. Him just saying, "I only want the best here," when he's not really, from a perception standpoint, putting that out there, is going to be a real challenge for him. And whether Twitter can actually survive this.
Well, I agree. Look, I think there's a couple of things in play here that are very interesting. One is this whole concept that's suddenly come at or arisen with Elon coming in, which is Twitter has to survive, and this is the only pathway to survival. This suggests, and I don't know whether it's true or not, that Twitter was doomed before he bought it. Great line if you buy it. If you don't buy it, well, then, he could be a wrecker, not a saver. But on the other side of it, and this is just a hypothetical argument, if Twitter was needing to change to become more competitive and to become viable for the future, and let's say Twitter's business model needed to become more like TikTok's, for instance, I'm just saying, a big purge like this, a big cultural shift like this within the company, while extremely painful at the moment, would allow a change of the platform or a complete renewal of the platform. Whether or not that actually resonates with the users, that will need to be seen. But it does allow that. So I think, this is why Elon does succeed, is because as much as he comes in with some very left field ideas and thinking, and it doesn't always look appropriate, I think he's also pragmatic enough sometimes to seize an opportunity that comes out of the jaws of disaster. So we'll see. I certainly think that there's other factors in play here, but I can't tell you what they are.
Yeah, well, I mean, just because I feel like I'm more on the critical side of what he's doing at the moment. That's not to say that I'm sitting here, all in for what previous management was doing. It's like, but having said that, I've got a big question mark over what he's actually bringing to this at the moment. And who knows, like, this might just be it either Twitter morphs into something else or something else emerges to take its place. The old you leave a vacuum and someone will fill it kind of thing.
Oh, look, exactly. And I'll just throw this out there for everyone to have a think about. Twitter has really been largely unchanged in this 15 years. So, I just wondered, do they need to change? Do they need to change to have a future? I think these are the sorts of questions that really Elon's throwing out there. And his approach is an Elon approach, not necessarily a real world approach. But as I say, he's always able to, find those opportunities even when it looks like all hope is gone. And we've seen him do that with both SpaceX and Tesla.